Hello everybody, I hope you guys are all doing well. And yes, I am back finally. I know it's been quite a few weeks since I've been able to post anything. The job in Mexico was more demanding than I thought it would be. But I was able to get out and see a little bit of the town, but we'll get back to that at the end of the video. Now I know a lot of you have waited a long time for this, so let's get right into some time lapses. Because I've done some fun stuff this week. See you on the other side. So as you guys saw in the videos, I was able to get into some painting this week. However, I did not use conventional oil-based or acrylic or whatever normal-based paint. The paint I have here is linseed oil paint. Main reason why I chose linseed oil paint over any other type of paint is because other types of paint will begin to fail, crack, and peel off of the wood. Linseed oil paint does not do that. In fact, the original paint, or the lead-based paint you see, is often, or almost always, linseed oil paint. The difference with this is this doesn't have any lead in it. But one of the main reasons for adding lead to this type of paint back in the day was to stop mold growth. That's the one thing I think a lot of people are very fearful with when using linseed oil paint. But there's a few reasons why I don't think it'll happen to my paint job on the front of the house. A, this does have some kind of other chemical or element added to it that will not allow mildew or mold growth. And B, the Mansard roof is actually south-facing, so the bigger concern realistically there is a lot of sun. Moisture doesn't settle up there very well, it doesn't stick up there very well, the wood dries out really quickly up there, so I'm not really worried about mildew. I'm more worried about the sun beating up whatever type of paint I put up there. And since it's a lot of work to strip back and repaint that thing, I'll go over the paint that doesn't crack every, 5 to 10 years. And this stuff should hold up to the test of time. Now, one thing I will have to do to that paint every so many years, probably about 5 to 10 years, somewhere in that range, I will have to go back up there and wipe it back down with linseed oil or linseed oil soap, because it will dull over time, and doing that will bring back the original shimmer of the paint. However, if the option is go back up there every 5 to 10 years and scrape and repaint, or go back up there every 5 or 10 years and just wipe it down, I'm gonna choose the wipe down option because I've already done quite a bit of scraping up there and it's not the quickest job. So let's just do this whole thing once. Now on the exterior time lapse, you guys saw me using these and not these. Reason being is this is actually what you use for a primer. Essentially, it's just boiled linseed oil and a little bit of the actual paint itself. So it's 30% pigment or color or paint to 70% boiled linseed oil. And that is the primer for the paint. It's also why outside the color does not seem very vibrant, and it's because it is a very, very diluted mix. But when it comes to the corbels, I've got quite a bit further along, and you can see the color is a lot more poppy and vibrant. And this is kind of the first little showing of what the actual color on the house is going to be. And I have 3 of these here on my desk, and they're all in process right now. The one that is closest to being done is this one here on the far side. This one actually has the priming coat and then 2 finish coats on it, and it's starting to look quite nice. Of course, this stuff takes a very long time to dry, between 1 to 3 days per coat. So this really has been a week-long process of me being down here. And of course, I've been using smaller brushes to kind of get into these detailed areas. Now, when it's 40 feet up in the air, you won't really be able to see how good I did it, but I'll know I made the extra effort to make sure all the lines were crisp and clean. And you can see again on this one where it's shiny, it just still hasn't quite dried fully yet. So this is kind of what it'll look like, more so when it's up on the building, as that is the bottom and this is the top. So pretty exciting stuff. There's going to be a lot of painting in the future because I have a lot of trim to get through. Unfortunately, some of the trim I actually have to strip from paint I put on it because I decided to go down the linseed oil path versus the oil-based path that I was doing before. So we'll see in about, 10-ish years if I made the right decision. But I think I did. I do so much research on these things, and you end up finding what I believe anyways to be better paths, and then you go down that path. One thing I'll say about it though is every time I talk to somebody who's working on one of these old houses and has real passion for it, we're all always running little experiments. Because so many of these different facets of these houses and the way they were done and the way they were built, painted, all the different old techniques, most all of them are somewhat lost. And now there's a lot of people just kind of making it up as they go. So we'll see how my little experiment does. Now, I did want to tell you guys sorry for this huge delay in getting a new video out to you guys.
Of course, it was not my intention. Realistically, this entire summer for me has been quite the whirlwind, with the machines and the multiple trips up to Wisconsin, and then somehow getting back into the job I used to do way before I ever started this channel. So it's just been a very odd summer. But that's okay, fall is upon us, or about to be upon us. We're going to get right back to getting more of this house done. Because at the end of the day, all of these things I've been doing this summer still lead back to the singularity of my life, which is restoring this house. So for any of you who are worried, believe me, in one way or another, this project will continue until, well, probably forever, because there is not really an end point here. There's always going to be work to do. And about Mexico, I did want to share with you guys a few fun clips. For any of you wondering, the job I was working down there was a game show by the name of Raid the Cage. Not sure what network it's going to be on. I hear it's one of the larger ones, ABC, CBS, one of those ones. I can't really say a huge amount about the show because I signed one of those very fancy non-disclosure agreements, so I can't speak a lot about it. But it was a fairly decent time, and I was able to sneak out for 2 days to go and see some of the sights. And I definitely can say that Mexico City is one of the most architecturally diverse places I've ever been in my life. There's not a cohesion amongst the old downtown. You have everything from 2,000-year-old Aztec ruins all the way up to brutalism and everything in between. You've got splashes of Moroccan architecture, something that looks like it's out of Cordoba, Spain. You got buildings that are Second Empire and look like they belong in Paris, and just a little bit of everything in between that. So absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. Wonderful food, wonderful, wonderful, nice people. Got to go to a castle that was amazing. So I got to see quite a few things that were kind of right up my alley. And I really enjoyed my time there. That being said, it was still quite a bit of work down there, and I don't hope to be returning to that job anytime soon. So that's going to be it for me this week, guys. However, before I go, we are going to be going back to a weekly schedule. I owe you guys a lot of videos, and I plan on delivering you guys a lot of videos. So, as always, guys, thank you guys so very much. Sorry again for this giant gap, but I will see you guys again next week. And I want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.